I remember an illustration Chuck Swindoll used one time as he was preaching many years ago. He said, if you were driving on a treacherous mountain road with a cliff on both sides, and as you are approaching a hairpin turn, which is better to have for the drivers? A state-of-the-art hospital with the best doctors in the world at the bottom of the mountain when they drive off the cliff, or a giant yellow warning sign saying, slow down? Which is better? Warning sign on the turn, or bottom of the mountain hospital? Well, the answer is obvious, a warning sign. John 16 is where we land in our 260 journey, and Jesus is going to give his followers in life a warning sign so they end up at the bottom of the mountain in the hospital. The warning sign is called conviction. It's a ministry of the Holy Spirit. Let me read to you what Jesus says about this. This is John 16, verse 7 through 11. But I tell you the truth. It is to your advantage that I go away, for if I don't go away, the Helper will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you. And when he comes, he will convict the world concerning sin, righteousness, and judgment. Concerning sin, because they do not believe in me. And concerning righteousness, because I go to the Father, and you no longer see me. And concerning judgment, because the ruler of this world has been judged. Listen to this. When he comes, the Holy Spirit, he will convict. What's conviction? It's an inner warning. It's a big yellow sign inside of us saying, slow down. This may not be right, what you're about to go into. See, conviction of the Holy Spirit is really the opposite of peace. It's a disturbance in the soul that can only be silenced by stepping on the brake when coming to the turn. The conviction of the Holy Spirit is what saves us from crashing and burning and needing the hospital really at the bottom of the mountain. The hospitals at the bottom of the mountain can be a counselor's office, a pastor's office, therapy, all those kind of things. I'm not saying that those hospitals can't fix the damage inflicted, but just think of the pain that could have been avoided if we yield to the Holy Spirit's conviction. Most of the times, the conviction that comes when we are entering into a compromise, an area of sin, or a place that will hurt our spiritual life. People many times also confuse conviction and condemnation. See, conviction is the feeling of what I was doing was wrong, and with God's help, I can change. Condemnation is the feeling I am wrong, and I can never measure up. See, and there's no hope of change in condemnation. Conviction is the work of the Holy Spirit, but condemnation is the work of man. Conviction is so we can look more like Jesus. Condemnation is there because we don't look like other people. See, conviction is from God. Conviction is the warning sign on the hairpin turns. And our job is to yield, like in this story, that during the Great Awakening, when the Spirit of God revived much of our nation's early faith, Jonathan Edwards was providing over a massive prayer meeting. 800 men were meeting to pray with Jonathan Edwards. In that meeting, a woman sent a message asking the men to pray for her husband. The note described a man who had become unloving, prideful, and difficult. Edwards read the message in private and then thinking, perhaps the man described is present, and he made a bold request. Edwards read the note to the 800 men at the prayer meeting. Then he asked if the man who has been described would raise his hand so that the whole assembly could pray for him. When he said that, 300 men raised their hands. Really? 300 men yielded to the yellow sign to avoid the hospital. Thanks for joining the 260 Journey.